Hi people, if you guys remember in early 2010s, Micromax, Oppo and Karbonn, really famous phones. Fast forward today, those brands are not existing in Indian market. Have you guys ever understand why does this Indian mobile brands suffer to survive in own market? So in this video, let us decode why does Indian mobile brands failed in their own nation. Let's get started. If you see the smartphone market, it's categorized into three segments. 1. Premium segment, 2. Mid-range segment, 3. Budget-friendly segment. In the premium segment, we could see Apple series like iPhones and Samsung series like Galaxy S6. If you see in the mid-range series, we could see the Samsung Grand series and Sony Xperia series. And when it's come to low or budget-friendly segment, we could see the Indian brands like Micromax, Lava and Karbonn. These premium brands are targeting the price range above 30,000. These mid-range brands are targeting between 15,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. And these low-range brands are targeting under the 15,000 rupees. In early 2010s, 70% of the smartphones shipped priced under 15,000 rupees. So we could see huge demand for the phones which have priced under 15,000. Indian brands like Micromax and Lava are targeting this segment with providing really great smartphones. Till 2014, these Indian brands like Micromax and Karbonn and Lava are making incredible revenue. From 2010 to 14, Micromax revenue shot up from 1600 crores to 11,000 crores. And Karbonn was making 1043 crores in 2012 and it shot up to 4500 crores by end of the 2014. And till 2014, these mobile brands were making incredible profits. It's looking really good from outside, right? But when it's come to inside, they are following a strategy which going to kill them. The strategy was rebranding strategy. Here's the small explanation of the rebranding strategy. Brand like Micromax will go to a Chinese brand, find a fully developed smartphone, ask them to rebrand with the Micromax name, give them a bulk order. Chinese brand manufactures it and ship into the Micromax India. Micromax India will sell these phones in their offline stores. This Indian brands does not have any research and development team or designing team. They are simply taking Chinese phone and rebranding them and selling in India. And slowly Chinese brands like Oppo, Vivo, Xiaomi enter the Indian market in mid 2014. These Chinese brands have really great teams and they are building phones from the scratch. Like designing, developing, everything they are doing from the scratch. And not only that, they are not selling their phones in offline stores. To decrease the showroom cost, they are selling their phones on online partners like Amazon and Flipkart. This gives them really great advantage to increase their profits. These Chinese brands use the Make in India program very well. They set up their assembly plants in India to decrease the taxes. But these Indian brands are directly importing phones from the China, so they're paying high taxes. After this all, nothing much affected to the Indian brands. But in 2016 September, Jio entered into Indian market with affordable recharge prices, low internet cost.
Mukesh Ambani has said Reliance Jio will be ready to commercially launch its 4G telecom services in second half of 2020.
And you might ask, why does a telecom player will affect a mobile manufacturer? Here's the explanation. If you see Indian brands, they are not targeting on 4G feature phones. They are targeting on 3G phones. Just because India doesn't have the 4G till that time, so their idea was to only target on 3G phones. But if we see these Chinese brands, they are targeting on the 4G phones. So the once Jio entered the market, 4G was a boom. And most of the Indian people started buying these Chinese brands. And slowly demand for these Indian brands started going down. Indian brands not manufacturing any new phones. They're simply shipping Chinese phones and it took them little time to convert to 4G. In this gap, these Chinese brands captured the most of the Indian market. Fast forward today, till 2014, Indian mobile brands share came to 1% in India. Chinese brands started ruling our Indian mobile market. And this is how Indian mobile brands get killed in their own nation. So here are the lessons we could learn from this case study. Lesson number 1. Adaptability is the key to the survival. Brand like Micromax failed just because they are late to adapt the 4G. So we should always see the latest trends in our industry and adapt them as soon as possible so we could survive in the market. Lesson number 2. Continue learning and innovation. Once Micromax was really good brand, they're providing really great phones in affordable prices. But they stopped innovating new things and that's turned them to a failure brand. So how great we are in our industry, we should always learn new skills so we could survive. Lesson number 3. Think behind the short-term goals. Brand like Micromax are making really good profit for short-term, but they never thought about the future, and that is why they failed. So we also always think about the big picture. If we satisfied with the small things and we could happy in the short term, but it will create big problem in the long term.